A season that started as a crisis, robbed by VAR, but continued to fight through the season. Another example of a Gary O'Neill masterclass. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our final Player Zone recap for the Premier League teams for season 23-24. It's Wolves. And wow, what an interesting season it was. At the start of the season, I had no faith. No one was signed. They brought Matheus Cunha back on a permanent deal, and they, at the point in time of introducing the season, they had no manager. And Gary O'Neill came in, swooped in and saved the day, and boy did he save the day this season. A fantastic start to the season. Injuries hampered their back end of the year, but overall, just one to remember for Wolves fans. The way they played their football, the ability to be hard to beat at home. They travelled okay. They got some massive results against some big boys at home as well. It's one of those years that you just got to appreciate. Stand there, look at the season as a whole and say, what a year for Wolves. And especially what a year for Gary O'Neill, who gets sacked by Bournemouth. I ended up thinking rightly so because of what they had available with Andoni Iraola. But then he goes and takes another job. He goes to Wolves, which are in a bit of a crisis again, had no signings. A manager in Lopetegui just left the club, abandoned the club, and they needed someone to come in and steady the ship. And boy, did Gary O'Neill do a great job of that and ended up producing one of the great seasons for them with so many highs, individual players developing, some exciting football being shown at times, but then most importantly, structured philosophy, which kept them in a lot of games, produced a lot of key results, and allowed them to set up a really, really stable season despite the threat of relegation being a real deal at the start of the season. Look at their year as a whole, 13 wins, 7 draws, 18 losses, 46 points and 14th place. And keep in mind, they had a really poor end to the season with a lot of injuries and inavailability, but they dealt with it well. They dealt with the ups and downs. They rode the waves. They produced when it came down to the big moments. And that's all credit to Gary O'Neill, his coaching staff, and then the players to follow up and make that happen. So I'm really, really impressed with the Wolves season. I think I had them 18th in my pre-season predictions because I didn't see any way they could stay safe, especially with all the VAR against them as well. To start the season off, I think every fortnight we're talking about how Wolves were being robbed by VAR or done dirty by VAR. So, fair play. They dealt with that. They pushed through the adversity and got to where they are now, which is a very stable mid-table finish. Coming to the best sign this season, I mentioned his name already, it's Matheus Cunha. Pretty slam dunk move in the end. Probably the only real big money signing they made. The 50 million euros, 12 goals, 7 assists. Really stood out for them. That leader of the line up down the middle there. Raul Jimenez leaving the club. Fabio Silva not being good enough. Kalajic constantly injured. So he was the guy to lead the line. Almost as a false nine at times. Did so much great work. A clinical finish in the final third. And a very smart footballing. I think something that's very underrated, how he used his smarts. Again, played the false nine for most of the season, but dropped in the midfield to supply some an option, an outlet for midfielders when they needed it. Because again, this midfield very undermanned, very young. So he was there to support them at times. Made great runs in behind to support the wingers to get balls into the areas. Worked well with Neto and Wang Hee-chan through like a little sort of 2 to 3 month period there where they're all fit. They worked really well up top there as a trio. Made everyone around him better. And I think that shows the character, the leader that he is. Again, we can't forget he's from Atletico Madrid. He's a very high quality Brazilian player. Again, quite young as well, with the future looking very bright for him. Another great season upcoming next season. I wouldn't be surprised some other big clubs are in after him because he's a multifaceted type player. Can play out in the flanks if you really have to. Can play up top, preferably at the number 10. But this season had to play a bit of everywhere just to help this team out. Probably the most available player out of their big stars this year and continue to perform at a high level. You think about 19 goal contributions in his games he played. Consistently an available player, consistently worked hard and consistently proved that he's got what it takes in the Premier League and carried Wolves over the line in big games there. So for me, just one of the most unselfish footballers in this team here. Has a bit of a character as well at the game, can get involved with the referees, fire his teammates up. And I feel like just the perfect guy to be around this Wolves group to help lead those young guys, to help bring a bit of spark to the Gary O'Neill system, which is quite structured and bland at times. He was just a perfect fit for this team this year and a fantastic season at that. So he goes down as the best signing for me. The worst signing is going to be Santiago Bueno. 12 million euros from Girona. Made the 13 appearances. Again, had to be bled in to get a young player, being very harsh on him. Just didn't have the impact in a lot of games. He was the weakest link on the pitch. He will learn, he will improve. But just when the team needed him, I think it was an Arsenal game, which I actually was watching on a live stream, just a very poor midfield, let that side down there. When Tommy Doyle's not there, when I think João Gomes isn't playing either, they just look really, really poor. So there's definitely improvement to be made in a more progressive midfield area, or maybe even on a flank there. He just didn't, for me, have what it takes to match the Premier League level. Again, not much of money spent either. 12 million euros is not much in terms of the modern market. But I think they would have wanted the youngster to go and show what he's all about this season. Didn't quite do that, but yet again, I'm being very, very harsh. The sky's the limit for this guy. Big preseason under his belt, under Gary O'Neill, working their structured system, getting a bit more confidence with the ball at his feet. I think if he starts seeing a bit more touch of the football and can be more decisive in his decision making, where he'll pass, where he'll give, and where he'll receive from, I think we'll see improvement for him. Just start to learn the patterns of the team, start to learn how they'll build up from the back, and I think you'll see a much improved performance next season. But for me, Santiago Bueno is the worst signing of the season. The moment of the season, I think it has to be the 2-1 win over Manchester City in that September time. Early season, only had the one shot on target. Obviously, the own goal helps that as well. But it was that sort of Wolves, Gary O'Neill type performance where they just sat in. They were tough to beat. City didn't have much clear-cut opportunities. They had a lot of chances, don't get me wrong. But there wasn't like City battered the game and easy to have won 8-7 nil. Wolves almost deserved the way they defended that. They deserved that result. They sat in deep, they were compact. They made it hard for City to play through the lines. They didn't make any easy outlets or any easy mistakes. They were clinical in front of goal when they had to be, and they got the result. And it was just a sort of a constant theme of their home form. They took it to a lot of teams. The Man United 4-3 was really close to getting a result there. Took it to Newcastle at home as well, nearly got a result there as well. They were not an easy place to go and travel to. A lot of teams struggled going out to Wolves and getting a result. They're a tough team to crack no matter where they play. But at home with that home Molineux crowd, they were fantastic all season long. And they just get a bit more confidence to just go and express himself in the final third as well, being at home. And that's when you see the likes of Neto, Hwang, and Matheus Cunha do their thing. But definitely really, really exciting game to watch. A moment of the season when you thought maybe City's grip on the title this year might slip. Obviously, they came back and won it all. But at that point in the season, a massive result for Wolves to get over the champions there, especially such early on in the season. Come to the breakout part of the season, a personal favourite of mine is João Gomes, the 6.88 match average rating. A Brazil call-up this season as well. Tackles, blocks in the top 1%, and top 10% for midfielders in terms of his carries as well. Someone who's a bit of an all-round player. Talk about that pie chart style. He fills it all out. Someone that defensively is super, super solid. But we're starting to see signs of that attacking style of football as well, starting to show out as well. He's got that real grip between his teeth. He can fight in midfield. He's a scrapper and someone that Gary O'Neill's system suits to a T. And we've seen the sparks of quality shining through here and there in terms of progressively. He could turn out to be one of the best sort of number 8s in the league in the future. I can see under this development under Gary O'Neill and another season, potentially a big move to a big side. Then he can get his ability to show what he can do attacking-wise and spreading the game. But the passing is there. I think that we've seen at times the vision, the precision of passes can be there. Don't see enough of it, but defensively we see it all. Like in terms of getting into a tackle, getting in deep, defending deep, being a part of almost a back five at times, dropping in to help the defence out, coverage, defensive running. You can't do train these sort of mentality type things, but he does it. He get himself down and dirty and get that job done for this Wolves side. And just a personal favourite for mine. I think there's so much talent in this young guy. If nurtured in the right way, and maybe in this summer adding a few midfielders to help him out, in terms of defensively covering, we could see the full package of João Gomes. But, you don't get caught up for the Brazilian national team for no reason. He's definitely got a bit of talent there. And we're just at the scratching the surface with this guy here. I think one more season at Wolves, we'll see what he's all about. And then we'll get the big move and we'll get the full picture of what João Gomes can do on a big stage here. But definitely for me, one of my favourite players of this season and definitely the breakout player for this Wolves side this year. Coming to the player of the season, pretty easy. Once again, it's going to be Matheus Cunha. As I said, really the only big signing and made it count. You're right. You've got that star quality up top. Neto misses a large portion of the season. Hwang misses large portions. You're the guy up top to do the business, and he did the business. Like, there's a lot of pressure put on his shoulders to get the job done, and the way he shoulders that pressure and continues to fight. And as I said, the mentality to keep fighting for his team, support that young midfield out, make the players around him better. All the good things going through him, assisting, goal scoring, showing the full package is all just down to the player and the character he is. So really, really happy with this season. And I think it should be a season that will show football fans and I guess other teams if want to buy him what he's all about. He's willing to sacrifice a lot to make his teammates and himself better in terms of on the pitch and getting better performances out of his group, because this season is another massive season for Wolves. Can they continue to climb that table? Can they continue to remain in the Premier League, he'll be pivotal again. All the pressure comes back onto him and he shoulders that and he wears that pressure really, really well and produces when it comes down to it. When the pressure is on him, when he needs to score a goal, convert a penalty, or set up his teammate, he'll go and do that. So another fantastic year for him and worth every little penny, considering the year before I was a bit questioning if he was worth loaning in. Was it a bit of a waste of time sort of thing? So really, really fantastic season for him and deserving of all the credit. In terms of the priorities next season, number one being keep the team healthy. Neto out, Hwang out, Cunha out for large periods, midfield obliterated at times. You've got to try and keep this team healthier for longer, because if that back end of the team, if they were all healthy, you're potentially looking at on the back of West Ham in a sort of ninth type position. They were in great form. They were flying. There was assists from Neto. There was goals from Cunha. There was a great run of form for Hwang. And it all sort of fell apart due to inavailability. And again, we always say availability is your best ability. So hopefully next season, if Neto, especially if Neto stays as well, you keep these players fit. You continue to build this dynamic front three up top. You get a bit more midfield depth and quality. You're looking for a really strong finish next season, potentially pushing into the top half, because the quality is there. The technical mind of Gary O'Neill is there. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. Second priority is to add some more youthful defenders, keep developing this young group. Max Kilman's been a fantastic captain this season. And I always love the work that Dawson does, but you need someone younger to go alongside him. Be interesting to see if they can get a young player to support back there. With Aït-Nouri also linked away, Semedo linked away as well. Do you get some more young wing backs to fill in those roles as well? It'd be interesting to see. I think this is a chance for Wolves here to keep building this young core, especially with the midfielders, with how young they are and the potential they all have. Build some more young players around them so they can grow up as one sort of generation for Wolves here. I think that'd be a good way to go about it. And then the third priority is to build around João Gomez in midfield. That's your star, I think, going forward. João Gomez is your player. Add some midfield depth, maybe add some forward depth as well. And I said defensive young players as well. Make the centerpiece of this team João Gomez, and you do what you need to get build players around him to make him a better player. As I said, you're just scratching the surface of this young guy. He's got the talent there. He's got the ability to be one of the great number 8s. I'm thinking about how Wolves have worked around Ruben Neves. That's the same sort of feel I'm getting here with João Gomez. Build the team around him, make him be the centerpiece, him be the star of this team, and let everything sort of function around him, because it all function at a high level. We've seen what he's got defensively. We've seen snippets of what he can do offensively as well in terms of his passing array and the way he can set up the pitch as well. So that's the way I'd go about it in terms of going forward. And the fourth thing is just to continue back Gary O'Neill. There's going to be good moments, going to be bad moments, but this guy is probably one of the better managers out there in terms of stabilising a club, getting results, making the home place a fortress, keeping a structured 11, and seem to be in his recent 2 jobs, getting the players on alongside him and getting players to back him in and ride with the punches with him. So I definitely would keep Gary O'Neill as much as possible. Continue to instill faith in, back him in, get the signings he wants, because the future could look very bright here for Wolves if Gary O'Neill continues to get it right here at the football club. With that being said, their season grade, another one of those interesting mixed bags. They started so well, injuries hurt them coming into the season, but considering how they're in the relegation zone, I'm going to go with a B-, a really solid season all in all. Again, it tailed off towards the end, but the signs are there, the improvements there, the young players are there. Gary O'Neill's proven to me he's still a really, really solid manager, the way he goes about playing his football as well. So I've gone with a B-, a really impressive season. It'll be interesting to see who stays. Does Neto stay? Does Aït-Nouri stay? Does Semedo stay going into next season? How can you build around this young group of players? And how can you keep the likes of Cunha and João Gomez happy at the club and wanting to stay at the club as well? A lot of jobs to be done with the Wolves next season. Another solid season. Premier League safety is, I guess, the biggest thing, but midfield domination. Dominate that mid-table, dominate that part of the Premier League, and maybe potentially in a season or two, maybe next season, make that push to try and push in to the top half. With all being said, ladies and gents, let me know what you think of my calls here for Wolves next season in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Zone channel for more content like this, and press that post notification bell so you know when we upload here on the YouTube channel. With it all being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming football, and I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.